Well, if you are a conservative hoping for a second Donald Trump term as president of the United States, you probably went to bed last night thinking that it couldn't possibly get better than what you watched at the first presidential debate with Joe Biden. But this morning, the Supreme Court has come out with two new rulings that make it even better. Are you tired of winning? I know. I got to tell myself to pump the brakes, because while that was delightful last night, to watch the Democrats defeated by an own goal, setting up a debate to set up Donald Trump that instead set up Joe Biden, it is essentially important to remember a couple of things this morning as we begin a Friday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show. Most of you who live in this community are either Ohio State football fans or aware of the all-encompassing focus on Ohio State football in the fall. And typically Ohio State plays a game early in the year, week 2, week 3, some big intersectional rival. I know they're in our league now, but USC used to be, Texas, Oklahoma. And when you win that game, you think, wow, things look great for us to win the national championship. And that is true, but that doesn't mean you're going to win the national championship. And that is what last night was. It was a great win for Trump, but it doesn't mean he's going to win the presidency, because we know the Democrats have no shame. If anything was proven by last night's Joe Biden faceplant, it is that the Democrats have no shame. They have told us and told us and told us and told us that Joe Biden is fine, that when he looks out of kilter, that when he stumbles, it's a deep fake, it's a cheap fake. That was not a deep fake last night. That was not a cheap fake. Biden was the cheap fake last night, a fake president. And that is why I'm, while happy, I wish actually, and I never thought I'd say this, I wish Biden had done about 25% better, because then it would be more plausible to keep him on the ballot. They're going to do what the Democrats always do, everything they can. Right? On gas prices, on the border, on everything. They do everything they can. They're going to do everything they can to get rid of Joe Biden. And it didn't take long for that to start last night. Star Command at the DNC has apparently issued the Ides of March go-ahead. And they're looking for who's going to be Brute, who's going to be Brutus and plunge the final knife into the Emperor, Joe Biden. Because believe me, they can't wait to get rid of him. And look, you'd say, well, there is nobody else. I know, but whoever it is will be a fresh face. And I also know that there is no other face that could possibly be less fresh than Joe Biden, which is why I can't muster really any sympathy or empathy for him today on multiple fronts. Number one, because this guy has been a gas bag, phony, career government grifter for more than half a century. He has used his assortment of offices to inflate his own self-importance and to enrich himself and his family with millions upon tens of millions of dollars from foreign enemies of the United States of America, and has told us all along that he's just good old Scranton Joe, just good old blue collar everyman, right? Oh, I grew up in the Jewish community. No, I grew up in the Puerto Rican community. No, my name is Joe Bidenopoulos. He's driven a truck. He's taught law school. He's done this. He's done that, except he's done none of it. What he's done is lie throughout his entire life. And what landed on him last night was the hot glare of the spotlight at a moment where he had no one to deflect attention from him, and it flattened him. And I believe if you look that phenomenon up in the dictionary, you will find it under the word karma, because he had it coming. He had it all coming. And it didn't take long for us to see what was going to unfold before our eyes over 90 glorious minutes Because here was Joe Biden in the first 5 minutes of the debate. We were at the Dave & Buster's in Hilliard, packed house, 98.9 The Answer watch party. When Joe Biden said this, I think it was the second question in, I'm in the back of the room and I'm watching people react, and they're looking around like thinking what I was thinking, which is, well, certainly they got him pumped full of Mountain Dew, Red Bull, Skittles, and B12 and everything else. At least he'll give us like his version of the old Tony Kornheiser, Michael Wilbon bit. At least he'll give us 5 good minutes. Nope. Because this was what we got early on from Joe Biden.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
Jake Tapper, lifeguard in an earlier profession, swooping in to rescue Joe Biden from himself. Thank you, President Biden. Okay, stop talking. But this was the kill shot in the entire debate. This right here. There's always a moment in a debate that we remember. Not all of them we remember, but when we remember them, it's because there's a kill shot. And this was the kill shot in this debate.
Move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows either. That got a roar of laughter from the room. And that's fine. That's understandable. It was enjoyable. But as I drove home, one other thought occurred to me, and that thought was just outrage and anger at the lie that has been perpetrated on us, sure. But more so than that, the danger that this lie perpetrated by people throughout the Democratic Party establishment, throughout the cultural elites, the danger in which that has placed our nation. Who is leading our country? Because that rotting husk of a human being up there last night is certainly incapable of it, and they've known it. And yet, they have told us this.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever.
It is hard for us to keep up with this president.
I've said it for years now. He's cogent, but I undersold him when I said he was cogent. He's far beyond cogent. In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been.
I have seen the president effectively guide the members of the department, of his cabinet and his military.
Evidence and the president himself put his memory squarely at issue. We interviewed the president and asked him about his recorded statement. Quote, "I just found all the classified stuff downstairs," end quote. He told us that he didn't remember saying that to his ghostwriter. He also said he didn't remember finding any classified material in his home after his vice presidency.
Special counsel of her is as far as I remember, is obviously a Republican, a prosecutor. He's not a medical doctor. He's just not.
And I'm telling you, this guy's tough. He's smart. He's on his game. When you go in to brief the president, you better have your big boy pants on. And this kind of sense that he's not ready for this job is just a bucket of BS.
I'll quote a little bit of what the First Lady said, I think incredibly well, just a couple days ago. President Biden does more in 1 hour than most people do in a day. His age with experience and expertise is an incredible asset, and he proves it every day.
If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
Oh, if it weren't the truth, Joe Scarborough wouldn't say it. He's cogent. He's the best Biden he's ever been. He gets more done in an hour than the rest of you do all day. I can't keep up with him. You better have your big boy pants on. Every single one of them New different. Every single one. KJP, Mitch Landrieu, Joe Scarborough, Merrick Garland, every single one of them knew they were lying, and they kept lying, which is why we cannot count on Donald Trump being the president based upon last night, because in the 5 months that they have left before the election in November, there is nothing these people are incapable of doing. There is no bar for them to meet in terms of righteousness and propriety.
Intervals of clouds and sun for the afternoon. The high today 89. Cloudy, warm and humid. A thunderstorm tonight, low 76.
So aggravating when you did this.
Tomorrow.
So aggravating.
Flooding and hail possible. The high 88. Passing shower on Sunday morning. Otherwise clouds and sun. The high 84. Partly to mostly sunny. Very nice day on Monday. High Monday under less humid conditions. Should be about 80. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty free. So don't just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve prosperity and peace of mind.
I don't walk up to somebody and say, hey, my name's Chief. I thought help in the mental health system. Not natural to do that. But when you see somebody struggling and they give you this, oh, you don't know what I'm going through, then that's when you pull out that ace and you say, yes, I do know what you're going through.
It takes courage to ask for help. An anonymous self-assessment is available online. Take the first step to healing. Visit militarymentalhealth.org or call 877-877-3647.
The Mid-Ohio Food Collective provides nutritious, healthy food to more than 500,000 of our hungry neighbors in central and eastern Ohio. They stock pantries and markets with fresh produce and
he didn't do well at all. He didn't. Joe Biden.
every single day. Food is health. Fresh food can lead to thriving lives. You can help through the Mid-Ohio Food Collective. Visit MOFC.org and learn how you, your family, your church, and your workplace can make a difference. That's MOFC.org for the Mid-Ohio Food Collective. Let's make sure our neighbors get the meals they deserve. Support the Mid-Ohio Food Collective. That's MOFC.org.
Hey, Health Warriors, Dr. Brandon Schreiner here with Revive Your Health Radio on 98.9 FM The Answer, where every week you're going to get world-class lifestyle education from myself and other healthcare practitioners. So if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, be sure to tune in to Revive Your Health Radio every week on 98.9 FM The Answer.
Revive Your Health Radio with Dr. Brandon Schreiner, Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 and Sunday morning from 9 to 10 on 98.9 FM The Answer.
Planning for retirement is no small task. If you don't know where to start, join Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group every Saturday at 10 and 2 for Retire Ready Ohio. Rodney shares helpful tips and strategies that just might change the course of your retirement. Listen every Saturday at 10 and 2 to Retire Ready Ohio with Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group. The firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services are offered through Peters Wealth Group, a state-registered investment advisor.
We had such an awesome time last night at Dave & Buster's. The Answer audience showed up as it always does, and it was awesome for me. to interact with all of you, but in particular the people who've served our nation. I'm really bad with names. I'm sorry. I met a Marine fighter pilot, retired. I met a female Marine who is retired now from serving in the Marine Corps. Also, the gentleman that was sitting next to her, a U.S. Army veteran, served 20 plus years. Patriots, the whole room, patriots. And if you're a patriot and you see a lot of things that a lot of people don't see, which is that every card is stacked against you in the deck and you want to do something to fight back, one of the things I've done is I've joined Patriot Switch. It's a private shopping club. You order from the store. They make everything they sell. Nothing they make, they advertise. Nothing they make, they put in big box stores. It's good for the environment. It's good for you. It's a great way to fight back. It's a great way to be patriotic and to get healthy products for your family. So if you're interested, I'd love to tell you about it. PatriotSwitch.com/Bruce. PatriotSwitch.com/Bruce.
He did not do well at all, and he looked. I'll give you the analysis. You kind of have the old man versus the con man. I can walk you through how I'm supposed to see it and say it, but I just want to speak from my heart. I love that guy. That's a good man. He loves his country. He's doing the best that he can, but he had a test to meet tonight to restore confidence of the country and of the base, and he failed to do that. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to want to see him consider taking a different course now. We're still far from our convention.
Utter garbage from Van Jones of CNN. Joe Biden loves his country. Someone who loves their country doesn't lie from the bully pulpit of the U.S. Senate as Joe Biden did for decades. Somebody who loves their country doesn't take their crack-addled, derelict son on Air Force Two to China. Someone who loves his country so he can collect bags of millions of dollars of cash for the Biden family, including grandchildren, with no appreciable business knowledge, no invoices ever billed. No one who loves their country blackmails Ukraine into firing a prosecutor who was actually going to get to the corruption in Ukraine, and then impeaches Donald Trump for doing for theoretically doing what you actually did in Ukraine, which was exercise a quid pro quo. I could go on, Van Jones. I don't cry a tear for you. I don't cry a tear for Joe Biden. I cry a tear for our country because we've entrusted it. And because our system has deteriorated to the point where an unqualified, self-absorbed gas bag like Joe Biden can have a 50-plus year career in politics and ascend to the vice presidency and ascend to the presidency and then have the temerity to stand up there last night to puff up his own reputation and say that no U.S. serviceman has ever died while he's been president. And I wonder what the parents of Max Sobiak in Northeast Ohio are thinking when they think about their son in the U.S. Navy, who was one of the 13 blown up at Abbey Gate in Kabul. Think. When Joe Biden dishonors the courage, bravery, and valor of their son and a dozen others who lost their lives in Kabul because of Joe Biden's incompetence as commander-in-chief. So obviously Van Jones doesn't say that. The rest of the CNN panel, liberal commentators across the board, don't say what they're saying about Joe Biden today unless they've gotten clearance and they are at 5-alarm concern about Orange Man Bad becoming president again. Here's Erin Burnett on CNN. Did she admit that they gave Biden the questions ahead of time with Chris Wallace?
He goes through 6 days of preparation at Camp David.
More than that.
And they know the
It was
rules.
more than a week.
Okay, so more than a week. They know the rules. He practices with the mics. He knows every one of these questions.
What?
And yet he couldn't fill the time. Now, I just want to, let's see what the White House is saying. Sources close to the White House are saying he had a cold, wasn't feeling well. I mean, as you would expect, that came out early on in the debate. But what accounts for someone with so much experience doing so much preparation and this being the outcome?
Honestly, I think the question answers itself. He wasn't capable of doing any better than he did.
He wasn't capable of doing any better than he did. Wait a minute. I thought I was told from reliable people that he gets more done in an hour than the rest of us do all day. That was a very telling comment. He had the question. Yeah, he had the questions because best case scenario, he could predict the questions. He knew he was going to get friendly questions on January 6th. He knew he was going to get questions on abortion. He knew he was going to get questions on immigration and the border, and he whiffed on them anyway. He whiffed on them anyway, to the degree that, well, he even lost Chief Bootlick Chuck Todd.
You know, one of the things was, would either candidate look like the caricature that the other campaign has been trying to paint of him? And at the end of the day, Joe Biden looks like the caricature that conservative media has been painting. And there were no clips tonight, right? This was, you saw it before your eyes. Look, I don't want to just tell you what I think here, Tom. I've been talking to a lot of leaders in the Democratic Party, electeds, coalition leaders. There's a full-on panic about this performance. Not like, oh, this is recoverable. It is more of a, okay, he's got to step aside. There's a lot of that chatter. This is about as bad of a performance in order to that Biden could have delivered.
Yeah, but it's not a surprise to any of us who have believed our lying eyes when we see him like turn away from all the G7 leaders. Oh, he was looking at another paratrooper, Bruce. You're being so unfair. Yeah, but you don't do that if you're not. Oh, kitty over here. Oh, ice cream. Where's there? Will there be ice cream? I mean, he's a child. Okay, he's a child, and I don't know if you saw the video afterward of Dr. Jill Biden leading him off stage, leading him down the stairs. It was amazing. Like, it was really, really, really amazing. Here's the Daily Wire reacting to it. Ben Shapiro first, and then Matt Walsh.
That was a very demoralizing. This is so demoralizing. Look at this. This is Jill Biden. This is Jill Biden walking the president off of the stage. Okay, this is right after the debate. Somebody had to take this on their cell phone, obviously, because the media would not be allowed. This is one of the reasons CNN didn't want to allow the media in. Wow. Look at this. Okay, for those who cannot see or are listening or something. Who filmed it? She is walking him down. He cannot walk down. So my grandmother, who passed away at 89, this is how I walked her down the stage, like the last couple of years of her life. Like when she was walking down the stairs at our house or something. Like if there are two stairs, you know, when you have an older person, you got to hold them by the arm. You got to make sure they don't trip. That's how Joe Biden is walking, and he's freezing. He literally freezes on the stage and he's looking around. I mean, like,
and
this is elder abuse.
That video should also make you very, I've said this many times, that should make you very angry at Jill Biden.
Yes.
Who's like the worst wife in America.
Yeah, 100%. We've all thought that. Who puts someone they love through this? But, you know, the Biden family's prism on love, a lot different than yours and mine. Mine doesn't include showering with my own daughter. Mine doesn't enable a drug-addled son or daughter with millions of dollars. Joe Biden's got a different view of love than I do.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. Among opinions released today by the Supreme Court, one that makes it harder to charge Capitol riot defendants with obstruction, the charge that has been brought against former President Trump over January 6th. Also, the Supreme Court reining in the power of government bureaucrats to interpret laws that are ambiguous and are applied to businesses. And the Supreme Court says that cities can enforce bans on homeless people sleeping outside in areas where shelter space is in short supply. The Democratic Party's establishment is panicking about the election following President Biden's shaky debate performance last night in Atlanta. And prices rose 2.6% year over year last month, that according to the Commerce Department. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 76 points, the NASDAQ ahead 35, and the S&P is trading 12 points higher. More details, srnnews.com.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty free. So don't wait. Just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve.
Because truth is not a left-wing value, and the left lies as easy as you breathe. You need the clarity and wisdom of Dennis Prager every weekday afternoon from 1 to 3 on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Are you ready to take the next step in your education? Look no further. Ohio Christian University offers entirely online associate, bachelor, and master's degrees in a wide range of fields, from business to psychology, human services, and data science. With flexible online classes starting July 9th, you can take one course at a time or double up to fast-track your degree from the comfort of your home. Don't wait any longer to invest in your future. Take the first step today. Call 844-726-7937 to learn more, or visit ohiochristianuniversity.edu/apply.
If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-839-8484, 800-839-8484, 800-839-8484.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer. Anywhere you go with The Answer's mobile app at 989theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
So many people last night, as they were leaving the debate watch party at Dave & Buster's, thanked us for hosting it. And that's backwards. Like, we needed to thank, and I hope I did thank, those of you who showed up. And someone said, hey, are you going to do this again? Well, I do know this. We are going to hold another station event July the 20th in Hilliard. It's not a debate watch party. It is a men's event. It's called Take a Stand, Be a Godly Man. Now, I know how this is going to go because a lot of the most passionate people there last night were women. My friend Brandy, her friend, I think Jennifer, my female Marine, Elizabeth, lots and lots of others. My three Worthington Christian moms or grads who were there. They're going to be like, hey, what about us women? Okay, don't blame me. But the event, July 20th in Hilliard, is at the church next door. Pastor Doyle Jackson will be there. So will Bob Burney, host of the Bob Burney live show on our sister station, 880 AM. Master Teague, former Ohio State running back, will be there talking about the power of community at Ohio State, shine God's light, make kingdom impact. And my man, Tom Ryan, will be on stage with me, the Ohio State wrestling coach, who's written a book, Chosen Suffering. And now, if you follow Tom's career and the events in Tom's life, knows that he is battling more adversity, not just shepherding his wrestlers through some tough times, but his own auto accident and recovery from same. You can find details on this event at 989theanswer.com.
This has been, quite frankly, a car accident in slow motion that we've seen over and building and questioning it. And, you know, as has been pointed out, Joe Biden sought this debate at this remarkably early time because he knew he was losing and he needed to change the narrative. And he did change the narrative. He sunk his campaign tonight.
That is Chris Wallace, who now is remarkable in his clarity about Joe Biden's unfitness for office. He and other Democratic bootlicks in the media, but I repeat myself, have told us Joe Biden is just fine. He's fantastic. He's great. He's a leader. He's statesmanlike. He's everything we all knew he wasn't. They told us he was. Now, I do want to admit that Trump missed opportunities last night. I will say, first of all, I thought Trump was better, way better, from the start of the debate up to the first commercial break. I think the first commercial break, either Trump realized this dude is really gone, and I'm mopping the floor with him tonight, and he got a little overconfident, or he lost his focus, lost his train of thought, or whatever. But Trump was not as good in the second half of the debate as he was in the first, and he missed some opportunities to just land some incredibly damaging facts on Joe Biden. For instance, I don't know how. I was talking to a friend, Pastor Mike Nimmer, whose program is My Pastor, and he hosts Grace Infusion, is his radio program on the sister station of ours, 880 a.m. Listen to it every night at 6 o'clock. Come join us for Sunday morning worship at Northwest Chapel, 6700 Rings Road in Dublin. Pastor Mike asked me yesterday, he said, do you think Trump has good advisors that have prepared him? Because, as I said, this is a wide berth for Trump in this debate, because all you do is just recite Biden's record. That's all you have to do. And Pastor Mike asked me, he goes, do you think Trump has advisors, who are telling him that? And I'm like, sure, I'm sure he does. I don't know if he'll listen. And you get under the hot lights and all that. But when the one thing that I'm most frustrated with Trump last night was when Biden threw the term convicted felon out, and we all knew it was coming. We all knew it was coming. Trump should have known it was coming. Everybody knew it was coming. That Trump didn't respond with, well, you know why I'm a convicted felon and you're not, is because you had a special counsel who said you didn't steward classified documents in the right way, but you got off because, and I quote, you're a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. I'm none of those. Well, I'm well-meaning, but I'm not an elderly man with a poor memory. So that was one mistake. And then the other mistake on immigration, I don't, maybe names stick with me. Well, I just said we had veterans there whose names I don't remember, but I guarantee you if something happened to somebody here in town, which names do I throw out all the time? Mackenzie Ridley, Olivia Kurtz, right? The teenage murder victims in this town. Those stick with me because they are horrific. And I was disappointed that Donald Trump didn't say Jocelyn Nungery had her funeral today, raped, strangled, tortured for 2 minutes by two illegals who you stopped at the border, vetted, and let go. Rachel Morin, mother of 5 in Maryland. Ruby Garcia, teenager in Michigan. I mean, that was disappointing to me. But here is the topic of illegals coming across the border, raping and murdering our women. Joe Biden first, and then Donald Trump.
There's so many young women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered, and he went to the funeral. The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant coming in. They talk about that. But here's the deal. There's a lot of young women going to be raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, brothers and sisters. It's just ridiculous. And they can do nothing about it. And they try to arrest them when they cross state lines.
Thank you.
There have been many young women murdered by the same people he allows to come across our border. We have a border that's the most dangerous place anywhere in the world, considered the most dangerous place anywhere in the world. And he opened it up, and these killers are coming into our country, and they are raping and killing women.
Okay, so Biden's answer was just nonsensical, right? Trump, if he's taking notes, he's like, you're equating the murder of a 12-year-old girl in Houston, Texas, to the dramatically few cases of incest in families, which of course are tragic. But if you're right, Joe, when you say brothers and sisters are raping or getting raped, spouses are raping or getting raped, and you can, to quote you, do nothing about it, that's because your prosecutors, funded by George Soros and others, won't prosecute actual crimes. Like again, like you got to pay close attention and you got to live it. You got to know it. Okay. This was the other part of this last night. Someone remarked afterward, this is Biden after a week to prepare, like 10 days to prepare. And if you're the president of the United States, like, I guess I was under the mistaken impression that if you're the president of the United States, that's kind of an all-consuming task. And you're spending, like, I don't know, 18 hours a day immersed in the nuances of being president of the United States. And so why would you have to hole up at Camp David with 16 aides racing back and forth to prepare you? Because you lived it. It's your life. It's theoretically your passion. It's, I assume, something you don't need to be prepared for on the nuances. And I know there have been people who always say, wow, the incumbent always does bad in the first debate because he's just so busy running the country. That's clearly not the case with this guy. Clearly not the case with this guy. Could have been worse, I guess. I mean, he could have left in a pine box or he could have gotten eaten by cannibals, but that's poor Uncle Brozy. That happened too. That didn't happen to Joe Biden last night. But Doug Burgum, North Dakota governor, a rumored VP possibility for Donald Trump, had the same takeaway from this that I did.
For every American, you have to look at this with a bunch of apprehension and go, wow, if this was 8 days to prepare for an hour and a half debate, who was running the country during those 8 days? Who's running the country today? Who's running the country between now and next January 20th? It's because not just Americans were watching. You had Iran watching, Russia, China. All of those folks were watching, and they have to just say, hey, look, if we had some action we wanted to take, we should do it now before President Trump's back in office. I mean, Joe Biden's weakness has already invited wars around the world. And I just think it's scary for every American.
It absolutely is, because if you are Putin, if you are Xi, if you are the leaders in Iran, you got to believe that you got until January 20th, till Donald Trump takes over. I mean, that's a reasonable belief. Now, I'm not saying that this clinched it for Trump last night, because I say, like, they made up the Steele dossier. They spied on his campaign. They concocted the Russia collusion hoax. They're capable of anything on the Democratic side of the aisle. And I mean anything. Anything. But if you're an adversary of the United States of America, you got to be thinking, we got to go now. We got to go now, because we don't do hostile coups. We don't do that here in the United States. So they got 6 months. They got 7 months to do whatever they want to do. And they might think, we're not ready. Well, you better, if you're them, you got to say, hey, the cost of not being ideally ready is impacted by the fact that it's quite likely there'll be a new sheriff in town in January of 2025. And then that's a whole different box of chocolates to deal with, one they don't want to deal with.
Intervals of clouds and sun for the afternoon. The high today 89. Cloudy, warm and humid. A thunderstorm tonight, low 76. Clouds and humid, shower and heavy. Thunderstorms tomorrow. Damaging wind, flash flooding, and hail possible. The high 88. Passing shower on Sunday morning. Otherwise clouds and sun. The high 84. Partly to mostly sunny. Very nice day on Monday. High Monday under less humid conditions. Should be about 80. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Laura Trump provides a fresh and honest.
So I'm not going to spend. So I'm.
their news from TikTok quadrupled in the past 3 years. It really kind of terrifies me for what is to come for this country.
Subscribe to The Right View on Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
The words you are about to hear are taken from letters sent in by members of the Trinity Debt Management Program.
Dear Trinity, today I'm making my final credit card payment.
Before I came to you, I was in a constant state of anxiety and panic, but now there is hope for my family's financial future.
Working with Trinity made me understand that I'm not alone.
You really do help people.
Your kindness will never be forgotten. Without Trinity's support, I would not have achieved my lifelong goal of becoming debt-free.
We saved a lot on interest and penalties, of course, but the reward was the gift of human kindness.
Trinity has carried me through a very difficult time in my life. You're amazing.
I used to feel so anxious and hopeless. Now I feel grace and peace.
God bless Trinity as you continue to help others become debt-free.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976.
Join me, Dennis Prager, on an unforgettable Bible cruise to the Caribbean, November 29th to December 8th. 2024. Imagine 9 days of basking in the sun, surrounded by the stunning beauty of a tropical paradise. Amid profound conversations, I'll share about the Bible and my insights into current events in a way that I believe you will really enjoy. Secure your spot on this once-in-a-lifetime adventure by calling 855-565-5519 or booking online at PragerBibleCruise.com.
We can tell you about the incredible success we bring to local businesses, but it's better when it comes directly from our satisfied clients. Here's just one example.
After searching for a new vendor to handle my search marketing campaign, I contacted Salem Surround after seeing the great work they did for another restoration company in the different market. Their team of experts recommended a mix of multiple tactics designed to get my business the most quality leads at the lowest cost, making my marketing budget stretch further. In our first year partnering with Salem Surround, we reported our best year to date, and I told many people how blessed I was to find them. The representative answered the phone every time I called and quickly addressed any questions or concerns I had.
Let Salem Surround give you an absolutely free audit of your current marketing and show you what your competition is doing. Then, we come up with a personalized plan that's perfect for your needs. Google Salem Surround Columbus and let our marketing experts help you achieve real success. Remember to Google Salem Surround Columbus today.
There's a threat targeting America: Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, this dangerous disease can cause life-changing health problems and is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. So it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside and seeing a doctor if you experience the warning signs, which can include joint pain and flu-like symptoms. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Stormy weekend, I guess, in store, but it doesn't mean that you can't have a great steak. Maybe not grilled on the deck or patio, but hey, you know, you got a cast iron skillet, or you got a flat top in the kitchen, or just a regular old frying pan. You can't miss with good material, I used to say when I was writing sports stories and there'd be a game with a last-second hero or something like that. Well, you can't miss on steak if you have a Riverbend Ranch steak. Now, if you have an inferior steak, there's not a whole lot you can do to make it taste as good as a Riverbend Ranch steak, because that inferior steak is not going to be USDA Choice or Prime. It's probably chock full of hormones and antibiotics, which that never happens with Riverbend Ranch steaks. They are certified never ever, which means no hormones, no antibiotics. And they are coming from an actual ranch in Big Sky Country. They are processed on site, $160 million processing plant on the ranch. Then they are dry aged to perfection, flash frozen, shipped to your door. My shipment came this week. You can get a shipment every month or every other month. Your choice. Go to riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley. That's riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley. The two best takeaways from last night's debate, one verbal and one nonverbal. A Twitter account under the name Joe List Comedy. I've never heard of Joe List, the comedian, but he must be funny because he released a tweet last night that said, They have Biden's goal for the night written in the lower corner, and it's a picture of Biden looking off into the deep, dark recesses of space with the word live at the bottom. Only it's, in this case, not live, it's live. Because there were times last night where he was just like, I mean, literally 10 minutes in, I turned to Alan Rogers, my friend and colleague here at the station, and I said, can he make it through 80 more minutes of this? Can he possibly make it through 80 more minutes of this? I was not sure. Now, comedian Jon Stewart, who I am not a fan of, asked asked a question. It was a provocative question. It's the second best observation on the debate last night. And it's true. And it goes back to this tweet that I just told you about with Biden staring off into space. And Jon Stewart's question was Biden worse last night when he was talking or when he wasn't talking? Man, the looks on the split screen. I actually thought after they showed maybe first 5-10 minutes split screen Trump and Biden, I actually thought they might not show us a split screen again. I thought that's how they're going to do it. They're not going to show Biden anymore. They got no reporters in the room. Remember, they wouldn't let any reporters in the room to watch the candidates during commercial breaks and stuff like that. But Stewart's right. Was he worse when he was talking or when he was not talking? His eyes were weird. He was looking off somewhere, who knows where. That might explain the commentary of MSNBC's Joy Reid.
I, too, was on the phone throughout much of the debate with Obama world people, with Democrats, with people who are political operatives, with campaign operatives. My phone really never stopped buzzing throughout. And the universal reaction was somewhere approaching panic. The people who were texting with me were very concerned about President Biden seeming extremely feeble, seeming extremely weak.
Gee, it's too bad, like some of our major publications in the country, like say Time Magazine or the Wall Street Journal, hadn't recently written long pieces about how Biden was failing. It's just too bad that nobody's seen this coming because he's so robust, so with it, so energetic. They just can't keep up with the man. What a bunch of frauds these people are. Now, I said earlier in the show that Star Command at dumpbiden.com has clearly greenlit journalists being actual journalists now in the wake of this epic disaster last night. You know how I know? CNN actually fact-checked Joe Biden with its hack fact-checker Daniel Dale right after the debate.
To some of them, he said he's the only president in a while who didn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world. Troops have, of course, died on his watch. He said he's put in a $15 per shot cap on insulin and Medicare. It's a $35 a month cap. He said it's a $200 cap on overall drug spending in Medicare. It's $2,000 a year. He said the border now has fewer crossings than when Trump was in office. That's generally not true. He said, or at least strongly suggested, unemployment was at 15% when he took office. It was actually 6.4. He said Trump wants to get rid of Social Security. Trump doesn't. He said billionaires pay 8.2% in taxes. It's much higher. He said Trump told Americans to inject bleach amid COVID. We know Trump made foolish comments about scientists studying disinfectant injection, but didn't frame it as advice to people. And Biden said the Border Patrol endorsed him. No, its union supported the border bill he supported, never endorsed him himself.
The Border Patrol tweeted right after Joe Biden said that they have not endorsed Joe Biden. It was one of a myriad of lies that Joe Biden told last night. Also saying that if he's president, he's going to restore Roe versus Wade. Does the man know how laws are made in this country? Does the man know he doesn't run the Supreme Court? Apparently not, given the vaccine mandates and the OSHA mandates and the rent moratoriums and the student loan forgiveness and all that, which, by the way, I said outset of the show, today's a great day. Not just because of last night's blowout of Joe Biden in the debate. This morning, the Supreme Court issued two opinions. Number one, They've struck down Chevron deference. Now, what does that mean? It doesn't mean you have to fill up with Chevron instead of Shell or any other gas station. What it means is that Chevron deference was if a federal regulatory agency wanted to make a blanket rule that applied to everyone in the United States of America, it could. You mean like the expansion of Title IX? Yeah, I mean that. Or environmental restrictions, no drilling on this land, that land, whatever. Yeah, I mean that. You mean the overburdensome, repressive regulations that raise prices for American citizens and empower bureaucrats who've never been elected to make essentially laws without them being, wink, wink, real laws? Yeah, I mean that. Supreme Court struck it down today. So that's really good, and it's doubly good if Trump gets in, because then we can get rid of a lot of this environmental nonsense and wasteful spending. The other thing that the Supreme Court struck down today was the wide berth that the Justice Department has used to apply obstructing an official proceeding to the January 6th protesters. And that may also gut Jack Smith's case against Donald Trump for fomenting an insurrection on January the 6th. So this is like the equivalent of stealing a base when you're up 10-0 or bat flipping when you're up 13-0. Trump winning last night and Trump winning in the court again today. We took a couple of L's in the court this week, but those were definite wins. Definite wins. By the way, did anybody know what Joe Biden was talking about last night when he said that he needed machines to stop fentanyl from coming across the border? Oh, we got these machines. He's like fentanyl eating machines or something. He needs machines. We had them, but, Trump said no, and the bipartisan bill to shut illegal alien drug traffic coming across the border went bye-bye. I got an idea. Instead of the machines, how about we build the wall? How about we do that? How about we not sue the state of Texas for putting buoys in the middle of the Rio Grande to keep people from coming over from Mexico? How about we leave the razor wire and the boxcars and all that in place in Texas and in Arizona? No, we need machines because, of course, Joe Biden can't just fix a problem the easy way, which is what we call the right way, with a wall. No, we got to have like some machine so I can spend more money so I can hike inflation up. Man, that was such a train wreck performance last night. Would Kamala have been worse? And that's where we're headed, I think. I think we're headed in Operation Dump Joe Biden to Kamala Harris, not just as a candidate, but maybe as the president. Because running as an incumbent would give her more of a chance than it would as his successor. Both are scary thoughts.
With the Actress Blueprint radio show. The thing that I hear most often in meetings is, what do I do when it seems like stocks and bonds are getting crushed? Rates at the bank are
all right.
And inflation
that's our number one.
Well, you're not alone.
If you are not overdosed on debate breakdown, go on over to the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page or to the 989 The Answer Facebook page. You like my hat? My XXXY Sportswear hat. This is the hat of the day. Just got it in the mail the other day. Shout out to XXXY Sportswear. And they're one of their influencers, Riley Gaines. I'm a girl dad. Their girl dad shirt was out of stock. Couldn't order it, but I will. And I'm going to fight for women's sports. I'm going to fight for privacy in women's spaces. In other words, I'm going to fight for truth. So get a hat. Wear it proudly, boldly. Tell people what it is. What an awesome last, 15 hours. What an awesome last 15 hours this has been. Everybody have a great day. Have a great week. Talk to you Monday. Bye-bye.